Previously on Mascot Mayhem. A 90s boom delivered a new generation of hockey mascots. From a California trio to a pair of energetic insects. If you missed any of that, go back and watch episode 2. These are the origin stories of cartoon characters brought to life. As Aesthetics presents Mascot Mayhem, a fuzzy history of the NHL. Relocating a team often leaves a beloved mascot behind. While the Hurricanes have managed to bring back Pucky on occasion, the same cannot be said for other characters. Anyone remember Badaboum? This fuzzy otter made his debut at Rendezvous 87 in Quebec City, an event that saw the NHL's All-Stars face off against the Soviet Union national team. Badaboum ended up being such a big hit, he stuck around to become the full-time mascot for the Quebec Nordiques in the NHL. That is, until the team moved to Denver in 1995. He stayed behind, making occasional appearances for the Nordiques Foundation. That's because the Colorado Avalanche turned up with a mascot of their own, Howler the Yeti. In fact, he's the reason for the Yeti footprint shoulder patches on the old jerseys. But this hairy snow monster had an even shorter run than Badaboum, departing after the Avs' second Stanley Cup championship in 2001. If you want to know more about Howler's history, there's a fun video I'll link to from Denver's KUSA TV that delves into all of it, including a possible reason for his sudden disappearance. Of course, Colorado's mascot story does not end there. Bernie burst onto the scene early in the 2009 season. The clowning canine is named after his breed. Bernie is a St. Bernard. Yeah, just like this one, with that cliched brandy barrel attached to his collar. In place of a number on his jersey, there's a classic dog bone. And instead of a Yeti footprint on the shoulders of his jersey, it was a paw print. At least until 2015, when the Avalanche swapped out that secondary logo for the C from the Colorado state flag. In January 2022, Bernie got a little brother with the introduction of Lil Bern. As the story goes, Lil Bern was found and taken in by the Avs from the Bernie's Buddies pet adoption program. Speaking of dogs, the Phoenix Coyotes introduced a mascot in 2005, and they already had the framework for the character in their primary logo. But when it came time to name this howling dog, they landed on a familiar one. He's no Yeti, but he is named Howler. This Howler, of course, is a coyote. His jersey sports an M for mascot, kind of like a Captain C, and he wears number 96 in reference to the year the franchise relocated from Winnipeg. Which reminds me, didn't the Jets already have a mascot? Matter of fact, they did, but the enigmatic blue creature known as Benny never made the trip to the desert, though he may have inspired the M on Howler's jersey. Truth is, Benny always seemed better suited to a colder climate. His retirement began in '96, but it would not last forever. When the Jets came back to Winnipeg in 2011, hockey fans were thrilled, but it meant the AHL's Manitoba Moose had to find a new home, and as they departed to far-off Newfoundland, their antlered mascot stayed behind. For good reason, too. Mick E. Moose was getting called up to the big leagues, and boy did he work his way up. Mick's career began in the International Hockey League in 1994 with an expansion team known as the Minnesota Moose. He was a big hit with fans, and it had to help that Mickey Moose shares a few syllables with a much more famous costumed mascot. But after just 2 seasons, the Moose moved north to fill the gap left in Winnipeg by the original Jets taking off for Arizona. Mick followed his fledgling franchise and made a new home in Manitoba, becoming possibly the only NHL mascot with dual citizenship. That said, there might be a bit of an issue with his birth certificate. Mick's official website claims he was born in the Canadian forests of Sandylands, Manitoba, and his bio makes no mention of his time stateside. Regardless, when Mick got his call-up, he added some aviator goggles to his getup and embraced his new opportunity. From there, life just kept getting better for this Moose when in 2015, his Moose finally came back home. With the Manitoba Moose back in Winnipeg, he started pulling double duty across 2 leagues. The following season, as the Jets celebrated their history in the 2016 Heritage Classic, fans got another classic revival as Benny came out of retirement. White hair, red earmuffs, and everything. Benny started his career back in 1986 and was named in honor of the old Jets' original owner, Ben Hatskin. Plus, there was the added benefit with the reference to the Elton John hit. Just like the relocated teams that came before, the Jets' move left another mascot cast aside. Thrash had been in Atlanta through it all, from the founding of the Thrashers franchise in 1999 until the team's sudden demise and relocation in 2011. Thing is, Thrashers as a species don't care much for long-distance migrations, so he stayed home in Georgia. And just recently, the Atlanta Gladiators of the ECHL not only wore Thrashers throwback jerseys, they welcomed back Thrash himself, bringing him out of retirement for one night only. So, with our last 90s expansion team now covered, let's look at some other NHL mascots who made their debuts in that decade. From one bird to another, the Washington Capitals joined the mascot fray in '93 with a red, white, and blue eagle named Winger. Yep, just like this winger from Detroit. And also like that winger, this one was short-lived, making way for his brother in '95, as the Caps underwent a sweeping brand redesign that replaced their patriotic color palette. But what to name him? The team turned to fans for creative ideas, but I guess they couldn't find any or something, so his name is Slapshot. Like this guy, who you'll remember was the NHL's first true mascot for the Flyers way back in 1978. Still, this Slapshot has had a lot more staying power and got a bit of a facelift in the late aughts, with a steelier gaze and pointier beak. He's even enjoyed a family reunion with Winger on occasion for Capitals throwback nights. And that feathered family has expanded over the years with a fledgling who wears a baseball cap, known as Hat Trick. Meanwhile, Slapshot remains a fan favorite to this day. And no, he's not blushing in this photo. During the Caps' Rock the Red campaign, he would sometimes turn up with red feathers. And speaking of Slapshot, there's one more NHL mascot who went by that rather common name. This anthropomorphic horned puck named Slapshot belonged to the New Jersey Devils in the early 1990s, and his resemblance to the famous 70s TV mascot, Peter Puck, can't be a coincidence. I haven't been able to reliably track down the date of Slapshot's first appearance, but that's probably because his final appearance overshadowed it. In 1993, the performer was arrested for assaulting co-workers at the arena while wearing the Slapshot costume. Eager to put this ugly chapter behind them, the Devils quickly abandoned Slapshot and introduced a new mascot, the NJ Devil. NJ was inspired by the Jersey Devil myth, on which the team's name is based, and though he wasn't around for the Devils' early years, NJ does have a reference to their old colors in the form of those devilish green eyes. While we're talking mythical creatures, let's cross the bay to meet NJ's Long Island counterpart. Sparky the Dragon can be seen bopping around Islanders games, but why? Shouldn't the Islanders mascot be, well, an Islander? Oh, it was, very briefly, but we'll come back to him in a second. For now, why do the Islanders have a costumed dragon? Well, kind of for the same reason the Winnipeg Jets have a moose, shared ownership of another sports team in the same arena. When Charles Wong owned the New York Islanders, he also owned an arena football team named the New York Dragons in the early aughts. That team had a red dragon mascot named Sparky, and on occasion, Sparky would come out of his cave for hockey games. Only then, he'd have blue skin instead of red. Was it the cold ice turning him blue? Or is he just a bearded dragon, a species that can change color depending on their environment? For what it's worth, even his shade of blue changed when the Islanders did. Either way, the Arena Football League folded in 2008, putting an end to the team that created Sparky. So he got a new job as a full-time blue dragon and official mascot of the Islanders. He was reportedly being forced into retirement in 2015 when the team moved to Brooklyn, but fans got him a reprieve, and he continues to spark excitement at Islanders games to this day. Now, about this guy, a larger-than-life bobblehead. This expressive, big-headed fisherman is named Nyles. Get it? And believe it or not, he came before the infamous fisherman logo we got in '95. But the seafaring character only lasted about as long as that logo. Shipped back out to sea in 1998, though he did make a brief return to shore in 2022 to promote the Islanders' reverse retro jersey. Well, I reserved this section of the video for the Rangers, the last of the New York area teams. But of course, there's nothing to see here. The Rangers don't have a mascot. They never have. Not even an inanimate character like Al the Octopus. Just nothing. The only NHL team to say no to fun. And we can't even claim it's an Original Six thing to forego the fuzzy costumes, as we're about to find out. Next time on Mascot Mayhem. The NHL's oldest clubs add new members, and its oldest mascot gets a brand new rival. It's cats and dogs in the series finale. Thanks for watching episode 3. This series will continue, so leave a like and then subscribe to the Aesthetics channel now, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode drop. That's all for now. See you next time.